This is The Law Show on CL 650. Now back to the show.
And the sins of a family fall on the daughter. All the sins of a family.
Well, there we go. The sins of the family. Okay, well, we got a couple of lawyers in studio here on The Law Show. It's John Lakes and John White. The firm is Lakes White LLP. They are estate lawyers and planners and litigators. And we're talking about a whole lot of issues on the program this morning, not the least of which has been joint tenancy. But, we're talking about wills and estates. I'm assuming maybe too much here, John Lakes. How about you? John brought the big, thick book with him. He's got chapter and verse open to the right page. What is a will in the law?
Well, until March 31st, 2014 in BC, a valid will had to be in writing, signed by the person who made the will, and there had to be two people witness the signature who all had to be present at the same time.
Right.
So all three of you had to be in the same room with the witnesses. And that was the law until March 31st, 2014. It still is the law now, except if there's another document, a record, the court may accept that as a testamentary document. So, for example, your brother dies in 2012, and they say, and he leaves a note with his will that says, "I leave my 56 T-Bird to Sterling."
God bless my brother.
And he signs it. Before March 31st, 2014, that paper wasn't worth the.
Oh, interesting. It was
was no
considered
value.
superfluous. Okay.
Now, you may be able to bring forward an application to the court to say, look, this T-Bird should be mine.
Okay, and this is all because of the changes, the Wills, Estates, and Succession Act, John Lakes, that we talked about at the beginning of the program, this new law in BC.
And it's a huge new law. It's totally new area of the law, and there's only been 3 cases about it so far.
Okay. Now, here's the guy who goes to court with, we have 3 cases. I have some of the documents, some of the decisions in front of me, John White, but walk us through these 2. This is new law, so when there's new law, you have to have new tests of the law, and you have 3. Quickly, what are they?
Well, the first one, and I would argue the most important one, is the Young Estate case. And this is where the judge hearing the case had to interpret this provision of WESA for the first time. And what she wound up doing was to look at similar provisions from other jurisdictions, mainly from Manitoba, where they've had something like this for about 20 years.
Okay.
And she found the Manitoba experience very helpful in interpreting the BC law. There are other jurisdictions in Australia and also New Zealand which have something similar.
But Manitoba's a little closer to home.
Manitoba's a little closer, although it's not quite as warm.
That's true. So what was the upshot of the case?
The upshot was, in this case, ultimately that she allowed the document in question in. But what she found, firstly, was and gave guidance to litigators like myself. First thing you got to show is that the document leaving you the T-Bird is authentic. That is, it has to be shown or has to be accepted that it actually came from the person who owned the T-Bird before they died.
Gotcha.
That wasn't a major issue in any of these cases, really.
They weren't disputing the issues surrounding the case.
Yeah,
the facts.
These were all relatively friendly litigations. There was no big family feud going on in any of these cases.
All right.
So authenticity wasn't an issue. The court focused its attention instead on whether the document in question really set out the deceased's final, firm fixed intention or not. Is this really what the deceased intended to do? And that doesn't necessarily mean, is it what the deceased intended to do for all time without ever having a thought of making another change? That's going a little far. Not even our wills work that way.
Sure, of course.
But it has to be more than just a passing fancy. It has to be an intention of the deceased actually to give some property over according to what's on the paper after they pass away.
Okay, now we've only got time for one more example. So of those 2 remaining, and they both look fascinating, which of the 2 can you tell us about?
Well, I'm going to go to the last or the most recent decision, the Urenkovich estate decision, which is one of those wills kit cases.
Oh, no.
But
I'm glad you brought this up because we haven't talked about this before. And so somebody did a wills kit and obviously didn't do it right.
They didn't do it right, and what they were very precise. They were very methodical in how this lady handled her affairs. But you heard John say that you have to have witnesses.
Correct, yes.
In the room with you when you sign your will.
Yes.
They then sign to say, yes, I witness this person signed their
up the
will.
will,
That's why
sure.
they're witnesses. Well, the deceased in this case did it backwards. That is, she had the witnesses sign a blank document first and then filled it in later. Which works out, you could do that.
Even I, a non-lawyer, am going, oh.
Yeah, you can see some problems with that.
Yeah.
And that invalidated the will.
Okay.
Under our traditional definition. But the court found a way to cure that problem under this new provision of WESA because it found that the deceased was very methodical. She clearly intended for things to pass along the lines of what was on this piece of paper. And even though it hadn't been properly witnessed,
Right.
the court allowed it anyway.
Really? Interesting. But by and large, still, if you're going to do it yourself, the DIY approach, some downloaded internet thing, perhaps even if you do it, it's still wise, John White, to have it reviewed by a lawyer. If you don't want to have it all the work done and pay all the money, well, you should still have a professional have a good look at that before you sign it off, right?
Well, I just want to add in that one. I mean, it costs a lot of money to go to court.
Yes, a lot more than drawing up a will.
So who knows? As opposed to going to a lawyer to get it done properly, it would have cost the estate thousands of dollars.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just for trying to save, $500, $600, $700.
Well, like they say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Indeed it is.
And
Go ahead, John.
and part of the issue too is you're trying to decide. You go to that. What is somebody's testamentary intentions versus their non-binding wishes, which.
Now you're getting into some murky waters, to say
Yes.
the very least. The website. Let me get the website on the radio. I don't think we've done that yet so far. It's Lakes White. Lakes is pretty self-explanatory. White is WHYTE. LakesWhite.com. That gives you John Lakes and John White and all the rest of the gang at the firm in North Vancouver. Both of you, thank you so much for coming by. It's good to see you again. We'll have some more fun in a few weeks.
Great. Thanks,
Thank
Sterling.
you. Thanks, Sterling.
See you next time on The Law Show.